Welcome to another episode of Thailand Truth Talks. Bangkok scams and bureaucracy, the hidden reality. Thailand is known as the land of smiles, and as of 2023, almost 2 million expats live there. But for many of them, arriving means walking into a minefield of scams and red tape that can turn dreams into nightmares. Have you ever felt completely tricked by a simple situation that should have been routine? That's exactly what we're about to uncover. In this journey through Bangkok's streets, we'll reveal the scams lurking at every corner, from the moment you step off the plane to the endless bureaucratic maze that can consume your life. We'll explore the hidden traps that catch even the most prepared foreigner. And by the end, you'll have the hard-earned knowledge to protect yourself. This isn't just another travel guide. It's a survival manual for navigating Thailand's notorious system. Let's start where every foreigner's Thai experience begins: the airport. The airport gauntlet. Picture stepping off that plane at Suvarnabhumi Airport. You're tired, excited, maybe a little overwhelmed by the bustling arrival halls. Neon signs flash advertisements, free tuk-tuk flyers are thrust into your hands, and official-looking taxi stands promise convenient rides to the city. This is where the first trap springs. Even at the official taxi stands, the ones that look completely legitimate, drivers routinely refuse to use their meters. The meter is supposed to start at 35 baht, and a ride downtown should only cost a few hundred baht plus the 50 baht airport fee. But taxi drivers often demand flat rates as high as 1,200 to 1,500 baht for the exact same trip. Here's how it happens. The polite driver takes your airport slip. You climb in exhausted, and suddenly you notice the meter never starts. When you ask about it, he quotes you a price that's 5 times what you should pay. Official reports show metered fares from Suvarnabhumi usually run 200 to 500 baht total. So a driver asking for 1,200 baht is clearly running a scam. The solution sounds simple. Just insist on the meter. But when you're jet-lagged and holding heavy bags, it's easy to cave in. The psychological pressure is real. You've just arrived. You don't want confrontation. And part of you wonders if maybe prices really are that high. That's exactly what these drivers count on. I learned to say, "Meter please," before even closing the door, and to actually watch the display start ticking. If the driver refuses, take your slip back and try another taxi. Yes, it's annoying after a long flight, but it's better than handing over half your travel budget before you're even in Bangkok. The daily grind of paperwork. Once you're settled, the real bureaucratic nightmare begins. Take something as simple as getting a motorcycle license. Many expats dream of zipping around Thailand on a scooter, but it comes with a web of paperwork that can drive you to despair. The bike must be registered in your name, which requires a residence certificate. To get that certificate, immigration often expects your work documents or lease agreement first. But to get the Thai license itself, you need proof of address. It's a maddening loop where each office sends you to another office, and you feel like a hamster spinning on a wheel. Meet John, an English teacher who came to Bangkok hoping for adventure. Between visa runs, 90-day reports, and extension appointments, he scheduled multiple absences throughout the year. By December, He'd missed over a week of classes dealing with immigration visits. His principal was understanding at first, but eventually warned him, "You can't keep this up forever." For John, juggling paperwork nearly cost him his job. If your students aren't learning because you're standing in government lines, your career is on the line. That's the hidden cost nobody warns you about. Thailand's bureaucracy doesn't just waste your time, it threatens your livelihood. Immigration office hell. Every 90 days, our schedules grind to a halt for the mandatory immigration check-in. Picture a gray government complex where hundreds of expats clutch photocopies and forms, waiting under dripping air conditioners. Thai officials in somber uniforms bark numbers as the line inches forward in the sweltering heat. You can taste the frustration in the air and hear the low mumble of anxious waiting. This is where foreigners must report every quarter under Thai law, and any visa extension means another full-day visit. So once every 3 months, or more if you're on certain visas, you clear your entire schedule to spend it here. Online expat posts paints this place as a complete nightmare. One person called it a madhouse with very rude staff. Another literally gave their local immigration office 2 out of 5 stars after waiting for hours with nothing resolved. One review bluntly summed it up: worst government office ever. Here's what a typical visit looks like. You hand over your passport and forms, carefully prepared according to the latest requirements. The officer barely glances up and barks a number. Hours pass. When your number is finally called, they ask for another photo, or notice your form isn't stapled correctly. Suddenly, you're scrambling for change to buy supplies, and that 5-minute mistake costs you another hour in line. Every tiny error sends you back to square one. They'll check your TM6 entry form, your various permits, your work documentation. Even the slightest missing piece means repeating the entire day. It's exhausting and deliberately designed to wear you down. The worst part? The rules change constantly. What worked last month might not work today. The official website might say one thing, but the person at the counter demands something completely different. You're always flying blind, and that uncertainty keeps you perpetually anxious about whether you're doing everything correctly. Tourist Trap Central. Khao San Road pulses with neon lights, booming music, and overflowing street food stalls. Its electric energy draws backpackers from around the world, but beneath this colorful chaos lie cleverly disguised cons that go far beyond the typical tourist scams. Sure, you've heard about tuk-tuk tours that detour to overpriced gem shops and jet ski rentals with fake damage fees. But the real dangers here are more sophisticated and far more devastating. Consider the fake credential industry. Vendors in shadowy corners sometimes hawk bogus university degrees or work permits. Desperate expats facing visa deadlines might be tempted by these shortcuts, but buying fake documents could land you in serious trouble with both your employer and the Thai government. What seems like a quick solution becomes a one-way ticket to deportation or worse. Thailand recently legalized cannabis, but that hasn't stopped dispensaries from targeting tourists with predatory practices. One online traveler bluntly warns that cannabis shops here are almost always tourist traps. Visitors report shopkeepers using high-pressure tactics, upselling expensive gummies, or claiming you need to buy more than you actually want. If a dispensary makes you feel rushed or pressured, it's likely running a racket designed to separate tourists from their money. But perhaps the strangest scam we discovered was the Kaosan wallet trap. A foreigner found a lost wallet on the street containing 1,000 baht. Being honest, he turned it into the police. The next day, officers showed up at his guest house. They informed him he was now responsible for returning all 6,000 baht they claimed were originally in the wallet. The supposed owner even showed up, pressuring him for the missing money. Police threatened to charge the Good Samaritan with theft unless he paid the difference out of his own pocket. Imagine that. Returning someone's wallet made him a criminal suspect. This scam is truly devious because even good deeds can backfire spectacularly in these streets. It's a chilling reminder that in certain parts of Bangkok, not everything is as innocent as it appears. Sometimes the kindest gesture can become your biggest mistake. Postal Service Nightmares. The Cheng Watana Horror Show. Just when you think you've seen the worst scams Thailand has to offer, there's one more waiting for you, hiding behind a government logo and a polite smile. Welcome to Cheng Watana's Postal Customs Service Division, with a jaw-dropping 1.9 stars out of 5 from nearly 150 Google reviews. This place isn't just inefficient, it's where time, money, and sanity go to die. This is the final destination for every parcel from abroad that Thai customs has decided, for reasons they may or may not even explain, needs special inspection. Maybe it's a random flag in the system. Maybe someone didn't like the declared value. Or maybe it's just Tuesday. The bottom line, if your package ends up here, you're in for a long, expensive, and nerve-wracking ordeal. For foreigners in Thailand, Chang Watana is the one place they can all agree is absolute hell. One visitor arrived with all her documents neatly prepared, only to be yelled at by a short-haired staff member for slightly nudging a heavy box. When she later asked if the hostility was personal, the clerk calmly replied, "Yes." That's right. Taxes aren't the only thing collected here. Grudges are too. Others tell stories so absurd they'd be funny if they weren't true. Imagine being summoned to pick up a parcel, traveling for hours in Bangkok traffic, waiting an hour through lunch break, only to be told the paperwork was for a package you collected 6 months ago, or finding your candy-filled care package from abroad suddenly confiscated without explanation. As one furious reviewer put it, if you want foreign candy, buy it yourself and stop acting like scammers. Then there's the mystery math of tax calculation. One man said customs valued his goods at double their worth, charging 100% import tax. Another was slapped with 1,000 baht in duties for his old hoodie and sneakers. Several claim officers invent numbers on the spot, refuse receipts for full amounts, or quietly suggest paying in cash to settle things, pocketing the rest. One reviewer didn't mince words. It's basically a mafia. You negotiate, pay in cash, and they keep the profit. The location itself feels like part of the scam, far from most residential areas, forcing people to waste an entire day and hundreds of baht in transportation just to retrieve a box. Arrive at the wrong time and you'll be trapped outside in the heat during the rigid lunch hour. Even when you finally get inside, expect slow queues, constant missing document demands, and rules that seem to change by the minute. Corruption allegations are everywhere. Demands for tens of thousands of baht with the receipts for only 100. Bizarre overvaluations and whispered offers to make your problem disappear for a fee. Some say it's so bad they'd rather abandon their packages than deal with Cheng Watana's combination of inefficiency, arrogance, and outright extortion. Review Montage straight from the people. 1 star is too generous. It's basically a mafia. Cash only, no receipts, and they keep the profit. Charge me 1,000 baht for my old hoodie. Do they have a license to scam? Confiscated my candy from overseas. Guess someone's having a sweet tooth party. Randomly valued my goods at double their worth and charged 100% tax. You wait an hour for a lunch break to end, then get told your package was picked up 6 months ago. Corrupt officers demand tens of thousands, give a receipt for 100, and pocket the rest. This isn't a postal office. It's a trap with a parking lot. The banking paradox. Opening a Thai bank account should be straightforward. After all, you need somewhere for your salary to be deposited. But this simple task reveals one of Thailand's most frustrating catch-22 situations that can trap newcomers for months. Most banks now require foreigners to present a Thai tax ID number before opening any account, so you dutifully head to the revenue department to get this number. What do they require in return? Proof of Thai income, like salary slips from your job. But here's the impossible logic. How do you get salary slips without a bank account to receive your pay? The bank says, get a TIN first, while the tax office says, get a job first. It's a circular trap with no clear starting point. I personally went to 2 different banks and 3 separate tax offices in one frustrating week. Each bank clerk looked at me sympathetically and said, sorry, no TIN means no account. Each tax officer shrugged and explained, without your employment certificate, we cannot issue a TIN number. Experts have noted this bureaucratic nightmare. Without a TIN, foreigners face difficulties with financial matters such as opening bank accounts. Yet obtaining a TIN requires proof of Thai income that most expats cannot provide without a functioning bank account first. You feel trapped in paperwork limbo, ready to bang your head against every corner. Your system seems deliberately designed to frustrate foreigners, creating artificial barriers that serve no practical purpose except to generate fees and wasted time. Some expats report success by having their employers write special letters or by bringing Thai colleagues to vouch for them. But these workarounds depend entirely on having understanding bosses and helpful local friends. If you're trying to navigate this system alone, you can easily spend months in bureaucratic circles getting nowhere. It's enough to make you think the entire system is rigged against foreigners. And honestly, you might not be wrong. The visa extension treadmill. Beyond the 90-day reports, visa extensions represents their own special category of administrative torture. Every time your permission to stay expires, you're back in the immigration lines with fresh documentation, updated photos, and crossing your fingers that the rules haven't changed since your last visit. The process varies wildly depending on your visa type, but certain elements remain consistently frustrating. Tourist visas require proof of onward travel and sufficient funds. Education visas demand letters from schools and attendance records. Work visas need employment contracts and tax documents. Each category has its own requirements that can shift without warning. Sarah, a first-time visitor on a tourist visa, discovered this the hard way. She arrived at immigration with her passport, application form, and fee money, everything the website said she needed. The officer informed her she also required hotel booking confirmations, bank statements showing 20,000 baht, and a return flight ticket. Sarah hadn't booked her exit flight yet because she wanted to see how much she enjoyed Thailand first. Now she was told to leave immigration, book a flight online, print the confirmation, return with proof, and wait in line again. What should have been a 30-minute extension took the entire day and cost her twice the expected amount. The psychological toll is enormous. You're always wondering what surprise requirements will derail your plans. Will they accept your documents today, or will some minor details send you home empty handed? The uncertainty creates constant low level anxiety and follows you everywhere. Long term expats develop coping strategies, bringing extra documents you might not need, scheduling extension appointments well before deadlines, keeping emergency funds for unexpected fees. But newcomers get blindsided repeatedly by a system that seems designed to change its mind at the worst possible moment. Street level survival. Walking these streets as a foreigner means being constantly alert for the next potential trap. Beyond the major bureaucratic nightmares, smaller daily scams chip away at your patience and wallet. Tuk-tuk drivers quote reasonable prices, then halfway through the ride announce additional charges for gasoline or traffic delays. Restaurant bills include mysterious service fees that weren't mentioned up front. Shop owners quote prices in English that somehow double when they think you're not looking carefully at the receipt. ATM skimming devices appear regularly at tourist-heavy locations. Credit card readers in some establishments have been modified to steal your information. Even something as simple as buying water from a street vendor can turn into a pricing negotiation where locals pay 20 baht while foreigners get charged 60 for the same bottle. The most insidious aspect is how these small cons accumulate over time. Each individual incident might only cost you a few hundred baht, but over months and years, you realize you've been systematically overcharged for nearly everything. The foreigner tax becomes a constant drain on your finances and your trust in basic transactions. This creates a defensive mentality where you question every interaction. Is this taxi driver being honest about the fare? Did that restaurant really add up my bill correctly? Is this shop owner giving me the same price they'd quote to a Thai customer? Living with constant suspicion is emotionally exhausting. The compound effect. What makes Thailand's bureaucratic and scam environment particularly brutal is how everything compounds. Miss one 90-day report, and you face fines that grow daily. Fall behind on visa paperwork, and you might need to leave the country entirely to reset your status. Get caught in one major scam, and you lose the emergency funds you need to handle the next bureaucratic crisis. Consider Mark, a freelance writer who moved to Bangkok with modest savings. His first year involved multiple visa runs to Cambodia, unexpected immigration fines, getting overcharged for apartment deposits, falling victim to a fake motorbike registration scam, and losing money to inflated postal fees. Each incident weakened his financial position, making him more vulnerable to the next trap. By his second year, Mark was choosing between paying for visa extensions or affording proper health insurance. He started cutting corners on documentation fees, which led to more fines and complications. What began as manageable bureaucratic hassles spiraled into a cycle where each problem created new problems. This is how Thailand breaks down unprepared expats. It's not any single massive scam that destroys people. It's the relentless accumulation of smaller obstacles, fees, delays, and deceptions that gradually wear down your resources and resolve. The expats who thrive here are either wealthy enough to absorb these costs without stress, or experienced enough to avoid most traps through hard-earned knowledge. Everyone else struggles constantly, or eventually gives up and leaves. Learning the game. Despite all these challenges, millions of foreigners do successfully build lives in Thailand. The key is understanding that you're not just moving to a different country. You're entering a completely different system with its own hidden rules and unwritten expectations. Thai bureaucracy operates on relationships, patience, and face-saving protocols that foreigners often misunderstand. Officials respond better to polite deference than Western-style directness. Problems that seem insurmountable through official channels sometimes resolve quickly through the right introduction or approach. The most successful expats develop networks of local friends, helpful agents, and experienced foreigners who share knowledge about navigating various systems. They budget extra time and money for bureaucratic processes, treating delays and complications as normal rather than exceptional. They also learn which battles to fight and which to avoid. Sometimes paying an extra fee that seems unfair is actually the most efficient solution. Sometimes hiring an agent to handle paperwork saves more money than doing it yourself. The goal isn't to prove a point about fairness. It's to get things done with minimum stress. Most importantly, successful long-term expats maintain perspective about why they choose Thailand despite these frustrations. The lower cost of living, tropical climate, rich culture, and genuine friendships with Thai people outweigh the administrative hassles, but only if you're prepared for what you're getting into. Thailand can be a wonderful place to live, but it's definitely not an easy one. Many expats give up after a year or two, worn down by the constant bureaucratic battles and small-scale scams that make simple tasks feel impossible. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. It creates multiple streams of fees and revenues while maintaining plausible deniability about intentional exploitation. Understanding this reality is the first step towards protecting yourself. Don't let these warnings discourage you from exploring Thailand, but don't arrive unprepared either. Budget extra time and money for administrative tasks. Research requirements carefully and always have backup plans. Build relationships with helpful locals and experienced expats who can guide you through the maze. Most importantly, remember that knowledge is your best defense. Every scam that catches you off guard was probably documented somewhere in an expat forum or travel guide. Every bureaucratic requirement that blindsides you was probably experienced by someone else who shared their story online. Thailand's beauty and opportunities are real, but so are its hidden traps and systematic challenges. With proper preparation and realistic expectations, you can enjoy what this incredible country offers while avoiding the pitfalls that derails so many other foreigners. The land of smiles welcome you. Just keep your wits about you, and remember that behind every smile, there might be a price tag you didn't expect to pay.